Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have some happy mail to share with you using my favorite things, and I must be honest, this was my first card that I made in 2022, but I just didn't got to editing and the blog post and all those things because I figured out that I didn't use a soft spot friends yet last year, and I was really disappointed about myself because I just love these images and it was about time to use it, don't you think? And then I created this card and I was so happy with it, and I already sent it actually, and really funny, but I just, yeah, the blog post, everything. Sometimes it's just, sometimes you have like those weekends or those days that you want to create and don't worry about all the things that go afterwards, like all of those things, and then you forget about it, and then you make other cards that have priority to be shared because of a situation or because of a team where you have a deadline or anything like that. So I didn't got to show you this one, but I'm really glad that I'm doing today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, if you do, you can always give it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate that. But about this card, so I used the Soft Spot France and I stamped it out using Gina Designs Amalgam ink, the Obsidian, that's the black one, and I stamped it out on Transotype perfect coloring paper. Now I'm using my Copic markers to color this image in. If you want to revisit the color combinations, definitely check out my blog post, because there you have everything listed for each part of this image. Really simple and easy for you to find it again, and just to have those references. You can always rewatch a video, of course, that is always an option, but I don't know how you craft or what you're doing. Are you writing down the colors while I'm coloring, if anything is for your liking or not? I don't know. Just to be sure, it's on my blog post. Also, if you don't find my blog post, there is always a link in the description box down below, also for you guys to easily find it, so I hope that that works. So yeah, this gorgeous image, it's really cute. I have another card also ready for you guys to share with you, where I'm again using this stamp set, but for a completely different card. You will see it. It's like the total opposite from this card. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I made 2 cards with it, but just a bit more patience. I will get to it, to sharing it. You will get to see it. So I started with the hair, with the skin. I think you already know why. I still find those parts the hardest of images. So I'm making sure that I have those hard parts out of the way, and then I can be sure that my image will somehow turn out great. So for the colors of today, I decided to go again with a color combination that I used in the past, being dark blue and light pink. These two are so different from each other, and that's also why they also really reinforce each other in some way. It's such a contrast that I just love it, and I hope that I can convince you from the same. I had this idea to do that on the background. As you saw in the beginning, I'm also going to use the Thank You for Being a Friend die from my favorite things. Gorgeous script. I love the mix of the fonts. I also thought that it was lovely to use only the friends, and I already saw people doing it, and it's just gorgeous. You can use the friends along with other stamps or other sentiments. It's just a great die, and a really fun one. So I thought there of doing something with the blue and the pink, and then I thought, well, why don't you do what you always do, Lynn, and just do the same with the images, while also use that pink and that blue. So that's what I did. Really simple. And sometimes that's all we need. Just simple. So here for the bear, I decided to go immediately with some flicking. It's a way that can help you with blending if you're struggling with a certain color to blend, or just if you prefer blending like that. I also tend to do it more easily whenever I am coloring in critters, animals. it sort of gives also that furry look, the softer furry look, I think, and that's why I immediately started with that on this bear. I think it's also the cutest bear ever. There is also a separate one in this stamp set, and it's just adorable. It's really, really cute. So fixing wherever I needed to fix anything using my colorless blender, my best friend whenever I'm using Copic markers, and a second layer, of course. So I'm doing that, and the shadow is a bit everywhere. It's sort of a centered light source, but just have fun with the shadowing. You know, it's not always perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about having fun and also liking the end result. Or if you have an idea in your head, try it out and see where it leads you. That's I think a really fun thing to do. And also about the coloring with the pinks and the blues. As you can see, she's holding the bear, so there wasn't a lot of coloring involved in this image. Also, whenever there are stripes, I tend to go with white and pinks, or white and the color that I'm using, or just having a really soft version of the color, or a really, really soft gray. Just flick a bit in it to have a bit of shadowing, but you don't need to. So really simple coloring actually. And then I use the matching dies to cut everything out, which is really fun in this case, because then you also have that center of the legs that is cut out. And I know you can fussy cut, I truly know that, but I'm not good at it. Or whenever I do it, I really specifically choose only images that I think are manageable for someone that isn't good or doesn't like fussy cutting. And that is not the case here, because otherwise the hair would be ruined because of me, and I definitely would not have any space inside of the legs cut out. So that's what I really like about matching dies. If they do things like that, I think it's really an added bonus. So for the background, I took the Midnight cardstock from Concord the 9th and realized that this was my final panel, so I definitely need to quickly find new cardstock of this. In case you are living in Europe and you want to buy Concord the 9th, because I just love this cardstock and the brand, but I go for really cute images and critters, so I don't have a lot of Concord the 9th stamps, but I love it all, I truly do. You can find it in Europe at NUVO, which is a Belgian web shop. I'm also a brand ambassador for them, because I really adore what they all are selling. They're really trying to find those brands that are difficult to find in Europe mostly. Of course, there are like the standard brands that we all love, like L'Enfant, Mama Elephant. My favorite things are there. But you also have these gorgeous brands like the Stamp Markets. You have Concord the 9th, and then they also added Pigment ink to their shop. So I just love them. So I just white heat embossed the sentiment, and then I took my Hero Hues Unicorn Pigment ink, really fun ink, and just ink blending a bit on the edges. I wanted to have some sort of a dreamy look. I don't know why, but I just thought that would be nice. And something that I had here as well, I went around the edges, just ink blending a bit, and then I took another blending brush, one that wasn't used yet, just to fade out those edges a bit more, as you can see here, just to have it a bit more loosey-goosey. Something else, since this wasn't going to be all perfect, the edges, I'm going to do some white ink splatters using some gouache. And that also distracts maybe from the uneven edge that we just ink blended. Not that it was meant to be even, it was meant to be dreamy and stuff. But yeah, you never know. So I went for my my gouache here, and I also realized that I had some mistakes there. So really annoying. I thought I'm going to rub it away, but then I just, well, made it more of a mess. No worries, it's all dreamy. We are going to ink splatter. It's going to be distracting from maybe some white things that you didn't want to be on there. If you had some leftover embossing powder somewhere floating and it was heated, this way you will not see it. And then I had to place everything together. So I combined the friend with the sentiment from this stem set, Adorable. And then, as you can see here, there are many ways to add this. You can add a friend on top if you want to, but in my head, my original idea was to have a friend and then a sentiment. So I decided to, because I didn't know what was better, to go with just the first initial idea that I had in my head. So that's what I did here, making sure I'm having some liquid glue on the back. And my NUVO, they were still in there, and it's just the way I store it. I have it in a drawer, not standing up or anything. I think it's better to have it standing up, but on its head, so that the liquid glue is always on the bottom. Now I don't do that because I just don't have that space. So I decided to just go and fiddle a bit. It came out, as you can see, there is still in it. But yeah. So placing that friend in the middle, I decided to add a title where it belonged using the negative, but then in the end you probably won't see the title. Well, you can see it depending on how you are tilting the card, because it's not completely underneath the shoe. But well, there is a title, we know that it is there, so that's the most important thing. And then I'm going to add the image using some thin foam squares, the best from Scrapbook Adhesives. And I'm adding it as much as possible on the back of this image. And wherever I need to have smaller squares, I'm just snipping it with my scissors to make sure that I have it also on those tiny elements that are really fragile of these images. So then I can add it to my card, and then we are almost there. I don't know if you saw it, but when I die cut the blue panel, it was with a slightly smaller die than a completely A2 sized die. So there will be a border on my card, which is lovely from time to time. I definitely think that. So that's what I did. So the image in the center, really dreamy. I really love how it turned out. So I hope that you also love these elements that I added, like the white. You don't need to, it would be gorgeous as well without the white on the edges, of course, and you don't need the splatters if you don't want to. You can also use a stencil to add a bit of pattern on the back if you want to. There are so many possibilities, truly. And then I decided to finish this card off using my favorite embellishments. These are heart sprinkles. Many brands have them, and it is just gorgeous. I love the pinks, I love the reds, I love the whites. I know that I most of the time use whites, but since I had the pink friend there, I thought this is my time to use the pink ones. This is it. This is it. So I just added a few, fiddled a bit. I didn't overload the card with it. I just find simplicity key here. And from time to time, it's really a struggle to know where or how many embellishments you can add. Sometimes I'm really being busy 20 minutes placing embellishments. It's getting a bit crazy. But here, simplicity key, and then just having them a bit together, some apart, that's what works for me. And if you see it, it's like in a triangle. Triangles always work. That being said, this is my card for today. I had a lot of fun creating it, and I'm glad that I'm finally showing it to you. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and of course that you like the end results. And I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. I wish you all an incredible day. Bye!